The billionaire Winklevoss twins threw a liquidity squeeze at their lending partner, Genesis.
You now have Celsius, Voyager bankruptcies, BlockFi reportedly preparing a bankruptcy process as well, pausing withdrawals, and now Genesis and Gemini pausing withdrawals. This is in a week. So, I mean, a few of those bankruptcies happened earlier, but the contagion is spreading. And again, this is not just the FTX is 1 million customers. These are now many companies with many millions of customers that are worried about their funds. Genesis Capital saying that their relationship to Gemini and Gemini itself are leading to pausing withdrawals among clients in the industry. Now let's think about what just happened here for the last couple of years. You were earning nothing in a savings account. So you had millions of Americans, also high net worth individuals, also institutions putting money in these accounts that yielded, say, 8%. And that's conservative. But that's what you got at Gemini for an earn product. And now with the suspension of withdrawals, they're working to try to bring those withdrawals back. But what happens when the gates are lifted once more? Is this a solvency issue or is it a liquidity issue? And are we going to see more players face more problems? And Genesis, remember, is one of the biggest counterparties in the trading desk in the industry. They put out a statement saying they're still trading, but are the problems more systemic? People are watching very, very closely because there are a lot of people here with money on the line.
Hello and welcome back to Cryptolenium. Happy New Year. As we enter 2023, the thread continues to unwind. So without further ado, please like and subscribe, and let's dig in. Bitcoin is relatively in the same place that it has been since mid-November, and people are starting to get weary with the next sequence of events that might occur. So you might have already heard this today, but Cameron Winklevoss pens an open letter to Barry Silbert about Gemini's blocked funds. Cameron Winklevoss is one of the co-founders of Gemini. Barry Silbert is the CEO of DCG, Digital Currency Group, the group who also owns Grayscale, one of the largest Bitcoin holders on Earth. Now, they seem to be in trouble, and if trouble looms ahead for them, that means catastrophic events for Bitcoin. As one of the most talked about events of today, we'll take a look at some other news that hasn't been covered as much that may paint a better picture for your understanding of how deep this goes. As of January 2nd, it's about 47 days since Genesis halted withdrawals. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of the cryptocurrency exchange Gemini, pointed out in an open letter to Barry Silbert, CEO of DCG, which owns Genesis. Winklevoss went on to make a blunt appraisal of DCG's business practices. According to the letter, Genesis owes Gemini $900 million for funds Gemini lent to it as part of the Gemini Earn program. For the past 6 weeks, we have done everything we can to engage with you in good faith and collaborative manner in order to reach consensual resolution for you to pay back the $900 million that you owe, Winklevoss wrote, adding, every time we ask you for tangible engagement, you hide behind lawyers, investment bankers, and process. Winklevoss claimed that DCG owes Genesis money that it has not yet repaid, leading to the failure of Genesis to pay Gemini. Gemini was sued by investors on December 27th. The suit alleges that Gemini engaged in fraud and violations of securities laws because the Earn program was not registered and investors were unable to assess its risks fully. Earn stopped paying its investors in November. Barry Silbert responded with, DCG did not borrow $1.675 billion from Genesis. DCG has never missed an interest payment to Genesis and is current on all loans outstanding. Next loan maturity is May 2023. DCG delivered to Genesis and your advisors a proposal on December 29th and has not received any response. And what Cameron said back to this was, there you go again. Stop trying to pretend that you and DCG are innocent bystanders and had nothing to do with creating this mess. It's completely disingenuous. So how does DCG owe Genesis $1.6 billion if it did not borrow the money? Oh, right. That promissory note. So this would be the official open letter. Go check it out on Cameron Winklevoss's Twitter. But even more frightening, Three Arrows Capital founder says DCG and FTX conspired for Terra's collapse, caused criminal fraud. Now, you might have heard allegations like this made by Do Kwon, the founder of Terra Luna, but now the founder of Three Arrows Capital is coming out with the same narrative. In his latest Twitter thread, Jusu alleges that DCG along with FTX conspired for the fall of Luna and ST ETH. As Three Arrows Capital went bankrupt after the Terra collapse, DCG and FTX took a substantial loss. The losses extended beyond Three Arrows Capital, with the bankruptcies of Babel and other firms that were involved in GBTC in relation to Grayscale. The Three Arrows founder adds that DCG could have worked along with them in the restructuring process. Instead, they fabricated a left pocket, right pocket, callable promissory note that magically filled the hole. This is like a kid losing at poker and saying, "I'm fine, my dad will pay you, let me keep playing." As we know, the collapse of FTX has led to a major liquidity crisis for DCG's crypto lending subsidiary Genesis Global, but Zhu Su believes that Genesis was already in trouble during the Terra collapse. He alleges that DCG and FTX took the fall of Three Arrows Capital as an opportunity to misdirect the crypto community for months and use several methods to attack them. This is how Genesis filled the holder by taking deposits for 6 months following the Terra collapse and hoping that the markets will go up. Most OGs are well aware of how close Barry and SBF were since the beginning. SBF is on the board of Genesis. They gave him his first FTT-backed loan. This is bad. Barry Silbert being in bed with SBF means Grayscale likely has a piece of contagion attached to it. If Grayscale declares bankruptcy, GBTC is in trouble. That could be catastrophic for the price of Bitcoin and consequently the rest of the crypto market. Keep an eye on this story. This is bigger than FTX. Zhu Su expects that Genesis is most likely to slip into bankruptcy in the coming days. The creditors are hoping that Barry Silbert helps them cash out in an easy way instead of taking the DOJ route, which would be Chapter 11. Zhu Su is not the first to put such blame on DCG. As we stated, Terra founder Do Kwon made similar claims. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is not on your radar, let me introduce you to the next worst thing to outshadow the FTX collapse. Keep this on your radar because this is something that you want to be aware of. And if you stuck around this long, please like and subscribe. We'll catch you tomorrow.